And what an achievement for Travis Kelce yesterday. In the second quarter, he passed Jerry Rice for the most catches in playoff history and wound up the day 5 beyond Jerry Rice at 156 catches. Kelce pulled this off in just 21 playoff games, while Jerry Rice's 151 came in 29 playoff games. Just for perspective, Michael Irvin with 3 rings had 87 catches in 16 playoff games, and Keyshawn with 1 ring had 39 catches in 7 playoff games. So, Michael, start us off here. Exactly how impressive is Kelce's feat?
Well, listen, this is very impressive. I remember looking at those numbers with Jerry Rice, even when I was in the midst of chasing him. And Skip, I said, man, ain't nobody going to catch this dude. You know what I'm saying?
It's just ridiculous.
I was like, nobody's going to catch
They're
Jerry
like Will
Rice.
Chamberlain numbers, where you just say, I don't know how he did that.
And you have to have team success to even have an opportunity at the kind of success we were talking about Travis Kelce accomplished yesterday. Going into that game, I remember talking about it yesterday. He was 6 catches behind, 140, 146, 151, something like that. And then about 551 yards. And I said, I wonder if he'll get it today. There's no way they're going to let him catch a lot of passes today. And he goes out and go 11 for 11. Now we move to, is he the greatest tight end of all time? I played tight end. I started at tight end. My career at high school at tight end. I got moved out to wide receiver.
You realized you wasn't going to block.
My junior year, my junior year. But a lot of my physicalness at wide receiver came from playing defensive end, tight end, all the slapping people side the head and everything. All of that came from that position. The hardest position in the world to play is tight end, where you got to know every front and every blocking scheme. Then know every coverage with every pass receiving concept. Anyone you can't mess up anyone. It's hard. It's a hard position. So when you ask, is he the greatest? I don't know that Travis Kelce's the greatest blocker in the world, because we've had some great. I remember watching the Mark Bavaros and the Mike Dickles. Say what you will, them some bad boys now. Bad boys catching and bad boys blocking. But where the game has gone, this evolution and all these passing yards and everything, and this is absolutely amazing about Travis Kelce, but what Travis Kelce has done. And for me, greatest pass catching tight end in the history of the game. And it's just congratulations to
tight end ever.
Right.
Did you?
No, never.
I thought maybe they would have asked you to when you were a sophomore in high school. No? Okay.
Sorry.
And but and I was only like 200 pounds at tight end defensive end.
We was big boys in high school too, though. So I was 190 pounds in high school. So, you know, we had receivers with our tight ends was huge. They were real, real dudes.
Real tight ends.
Yeah, they were real tight ends.
Right. When I was at the public school, though, I was a big dude. And then when I went to St. Thomas, where there's a real program, they looked at me and said, well, get out there and play wide receiver, because of what he just talked about.
Based on the system and the schemes that I was in, I replaced the tight end and receiver sets while I would go inside.
That's why you
and now I become the Y versus the Z or the X or the zebra. I'm the Y receiver, so essentially I'm the tight end.
You are.
So if I need to help on some chip stuff and then leak out, I can do that. Which I would do.
Yes.
When you talk about you know how I am, Skip, with this greatest of all time stuff. Look, man, Mike Ditka, Ozzie Newsome's, Tony Gonzalez's, all of those sort of things. It's hard to say who the greatest, right? Gronk. But when you look at his accomplishments and the things that Michael said about your team having to achieve something, I only played in what you said. I had 39 catches.
In the playoff, these are playoffs.
In the playoffs, I only played in like
7
playoff games.
Right.
Like,
so
think
you
about that.
5.4 a game.
Think about that.
Not bad. Not bad.
Think about the playoff games that Edelman played in,
6 straight years.
Gronk played in, Jerry played, and Kelce's playing in. He's going to have these numbers because he's good. And he's good at what he does. He's one of the best to ever do it. He's going to he got another 2 years of playing at this level right now before he goes boom. I give him 2 more seasons before we look up and we really start to doubt his ability. People doubted it early in the year because the team was struggling and he didn't look the same.
He did.
But these 2 playoff games that he's played in,
Lord have mercy.
or 3 playoff games that he's played in, this is a different dude. I mean, it's impressive, Skip. to have 150, it's dudes that go through a whole career in the National Football League can't get 156 catches. Let alone
in the regular season, like
in the regular season, let alone 19 touchdowns.
Let alone.
It's guys that have played 10, 11 years in the NFL still ain't got 19 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
Okay.
You know, let me just say this, because it's so funny. We were talking about this in the break, and I'll share with everybody, because what I was talking about, I had an appearance. I did a Thursday night game years ago in Kansas City, and Jerry needed me back the next morning, right? Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
So I had to fly back with the owner of the Chiefs, and I was talking to him about Travis Kelce. And he was like, yeah, we're a little concerned about him, bit of a knucklehead, but I said, trust me, that's a great player you're going to have. And you know, of course, they love him now.
Yeah.
They love him now, but I'm thinking about, you were thinking about possibly moving over to Travis Kelce is insane.
But he did it different.
Right.
He did it, as
Right.
they say, his way.
Right, but
he did it his way.
when you see him falling off for 2 years, let me tell you why. I may think he even have longer than that.
Well, he might have longer than that. He might.
Because his skill set is not just about outrunning you. It's about outthinking you and setting up and finding holes, and he thinks like a quarterback. So I think I think he's going to be around and still have time to
Yeah, he got
as long as he
time.
has Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's slowing down. He's just not what he was 5 years ago.
About a 5-game stretch where it
took a
looked like
beating.
he was starting to go boom. Like and there were hints about that he'd been suggesting he might think about retiring, and I'm like, I don't know.
Right, but I told you guys he was going to have his toughest career.
Yeah.
I told you that at the beginning when we saw all the drops by the wide receivers, because everybody says, let's just focus on Travis Kelce. And he had a tough time there for a moment.
He did, but Patrick said after the game last night, he is always at his greatest, Travis is, when the lights are brightest.
Yeah.
And you got to give him that, because, man.
Absolutely, that's what you want.
Hey.
You want home run hitters
the
when they have the
lights
plate.
were brightest in the first half at Baltimore before that crowd against that #1 defense, and he took the game over. 9 targets. I still don't know how you don't double him, triple him, just say you can't have him, but whatever. He got open, and he and Patrick have as great a rapport. I know Brady to Gronk was since it was just off the charts great, but I think this is even a cut above that.
Yeah.
Because these two, I told you early in the year, it's like you have 2 Batmen here. It's like Batman and Batman. Batman's at tight end because it's almost like a quarterback is playing tight end.
Right.
Because he's not just on your wavelength, like Richard said, telepathic. He's in your head. Like he is running the route as you see it in your mind's eye. He is running the route that exactly needs to be run to beat that coverage at that moment. And Patrick trusts him like no quarterback has ever trusted a receiver to be exactly where you're supposed to be. That throw to the corner on the first touchdown, it's just special, man. I mean, it's just unstoppable because Kyle Hamilton is in place. He is there. He just couldn't find the football because it's a throw to the flag, and it just, he just
I can't believe it in the Super Bowl again.
Right. And Kyle, I thought, Kyle, this was just a great throw.
I mean, my God.
Right, and Kyle Hamilton's right there.
But that's practice, though. But that's me and you on the same page when you back shoulder. Back shoulder throws, a lot of times on the back shoulder throw, receivers look too early.
Yeah.
They turn around, they give it up, and they look too early. Right. He looked at the perfect time, know exactly when to peak, and he knew exactly when to throw the football.
Yeah.
That's because they've been together so long, Skip. I can't believe they're in the Super Bowl again without Tyreek, though. Think about that.
Second time without Tyreek.
Okay, in a moment, we have to answer this question just because we have to. Well, what are the odds? What are the percentage chances the Dallas Cowboys will be in next year's NFC Championship game? You got to do it.